Hello students. So this class we'll see about Wildar current source. Previous class we were seeing about Wilson current source. Wilson current source is nothing but again 3 transistor model only. So this Wildar current source we'll see here there are 2 transistors are there and 1 resistor across the emitter I have represented, and this is my active load, either I replace with the current source or with the resistance R1. So across the collector of transistor Q2, I'll take the output. So this is called as my output current or else my bias current. So in current source considered so far, load and the reference current have been nearly equal. That is I0 is equal to I reference. I'll repeat. So in current source considered so far, load and the reference current have been nearly equal. That is I0 is approximately equal to the I reference current. So the voltage difference is produced across resistor Re. In this circuit, voltage difference is produced across the resistor Re, so that the base emitter voltage of transistor Q2 is less than the base emitter voltage of transistor Q1. So if we have a small base emitter voltage, we'll have thereby the collector current will reduce. If we have a small base emitter voltage, the collector current will be reduced. I said earlier there will be a voltage difference or a voltage drop developed across the resistor Re, so that the base emitter voltage of Q2 is less when compared to the base emitter voltage of Q1. So when there is a small base emitter voltage across the Q2, that will decrease your collector current, because across the collector of transistor Q2 only we are going to take the output. So if this voltage is very less, means obviously the collector current will be reduced. If the collector current is reduced, in sense my output current or the bias current is reduced, because IC2 is equal to IC0. So if this is reduced means the understanding is I0 is less when compared to the reference current or I reference. So now we'll see about the current relationship. So if beta is much greater than 1 for transistor Q1 and Q2, so beta is nothing but the current gain. So if beta is much greater than 1 for transistor Q1 and Q2, and as usual we assume both the transistors are identical in nature, so I'll try to write an equation for I reference. So I reference here is nothing but your collector current of transistor Q1 alone. So I reference will be equal to IC1. So this IC1 I'll try to write in terms of saturation current. So it's nothing but IS e to the power of VBE1 upon VT, where IS is the saturation current, VBE1 is the base emitter voltage across the transistor 1, and VT is the thermal voltage. So let this be equation 1. So similarly, I0 can be written as I0 is taken across the collector of transistor 2. So I0 is equal to IC2. I'll try to write in terms of saturation current. Therefore, it is IS e to the power of VBE2 divided by VT. So let this be equation 2. So IC2 is equal to IS. IS is the saturation current. VBE2 is the base emitter voltage of transistor Q2, and VT is the thermal temperature. So solving for base emitter voltages, VBE1 will be equal to, so VBE1, so this equation I reference is equal to IS into e to the power of VBE1 by VT. So I want to find what is my base to emitter voltage. If I want to find, I have to rearrange the equation. So when it is e to the power of, so when it goes to the other side it will become ln. So I can write VT ln of I reference divided by saturation current. So let this be my equation 3. So I am trying to solve what is an equation for VBE1 and VBE2. So similarly, I can also write VBE2 will be equal to VT ln of I0 by IS. Just rearranging this equation only, I am writing this VBE1 and VBE2. Solving 1 and 2 equation, I'll try to get my equation 3 and 4. So I'll combine the equations 3 and 4. Combining equation 3 and 4, So VBE1 minus VBE2 will be equal to VT ln of I reference divided by I naught. So from the circuit, VBE1 minus VBE2 is nothing but the drop across the resistor RE. I'll repeat, from the circuit, VBE1 minus VBE2 is nothing but the drop across the resistor RE. Therefore, from the circuit I can write VBE1 minus VBE2 will be equal to the drop across the resistor RE. So again I can write in terms of voltage I have to write. So drop across the resistor RE I can write using the Ohm's law formula I into R, and therefore I can write IE3 IE2 into RE. So IE2 is nothing but IC2. We know that the standard equation IE is approximately equal to IC. So IE2 is approximately equal to IC2. IC2 is what again? It's the output current. Therefore, I can write I0 into RE. So this is approximately equal to I0 into RE. So I have got an equation VBE1 minus VBE2, some equation I have got. And as per the circuit also I have found out what is my VBE1 minus VBE2. So I have two equations over here from the circuit, and from the current relationship I have VBE1 minus VBE2. So I can write, I'll write it over here. So I can write I0 RE, which is equal to VT ln of I reference divided by I0. So this is the relationship between my reference current and the bias current. Relation between my reference current and the bias current. Bias current is nothing but my output current. So output current or the bias current I have represented over here as I0, that is equal to, in terms of I reference I have written. So I0 into RE will be equal to VT ln of I reference divided by I0, gives you a relationship between I reference and the bias current. In sense, it gives a relationship between your input and your output. So we have to note some important points under this Wildar current source. So far in analysis of constant current source circuit, we have assumed linear approximation for base emitter voltage. So we have taken linear approximation for base emitter voltage. However, so far we have considered so. However, in Wildar and other current source circuits, linear approximation is not adequate since base emitter voltage are not all equal. Actually, ideal case it should be equal. IB1 equal to IB2. In sense it is understood, it is VBE1 will be equal to VBE2. But practical case, we will not be able to get that VBE1 will be equal to VBE2. So linear approximation is not adequate since base emitter voltages are not equal. So small changes in VBE will result in a large IC current. So to take this variation into account, either reverse bias saturation current or base emitter voltage at a particular current, collector current must be known. Also, we have assumed temperature of all transistors are equal, so that is necessary for a good operation of the transistor. So these points are much important in this Wildar current source. Still we have to find what is the output resistance for this Wildar current source. So far what we have found is, we have found what is our I reference and how we have related our I reference with that of the bias current, or else you call it as an output current. So now we'll see what is our output resistance. So output resistance is nothing but the ratio of the differential output current to the ratio of the collector to emitter voltage of transistor 2. This is nothing but my output resistance. This is the basic equation. So where R0 is the output resistance looking into the collector of Q2. So here in this circuit, for this circuit, I'll try to draw an equivalent circuit for this. So for the transistor, Q1, what all the parameters we have apart from the equivalent circuit of the transistor, we have one more resistor R1. So that should be present in the equivalent circuit. And there are no other resistors over here. So after R1, we'll try to draw an equivalent circuit for the transistor Q1, and that will be continuously combined with the transistor Q2, and we have one more resistor RE. So all these things should be there in the equivalent circuit. So I'll try to draw the equivalent circuit quickly. So this is my R1. This is for the transistor 1 I'm drawing. So this is my R01. This is my GM V pi 1. This is my resistor R pi 1. So across my R pi 1, my voltage is V pi 1. So this is my collector. I have redrawn in the other way. Usually we'll draw base over here, collector over here, and the emitter over here. So I have taken collector over this side, and this is my base 1. That is for the transistor Q1. This is my base 1. This is my collector 1, and this is my emitter 1. So this should be connected to the transistor Q2. So this is my R pi 2. Across my R pi 2, the voltage is V pi 2, and I have my current source GM V pi 2, and then my internal resistance R0 over here. And I have one more thing, RE resistor is there. So this is my RE resistor, and I have my voltage source. This is my Vx. I'll just fine tune the circuit. So here, this is my Vx1. The current flowing over here is Ix1. This is my base 2 of transistor 2. And this is my emitter of transistor 2. And this is my collector of transistor 2. So I have to find what is my output resistance looking from here. So R0 is equal to Vx by Ix. So my Ix direction is this side. Okay. So this is how I'll draw my equivalent circuit. So first we calculate the resistance R01 looking into the base of Q1. So we cannot do in one goal directly finding R0 from here. Considering both the transistors, we cannot do in one goal. So we have to do step by step. First, up to here, we'll try to find what is our output resistance R01. So first we'll calculate resistance R01 looking into the base of Q1. And then once we find this, then we'll focus on finding R0 at the transistor Q2. So try to apply KCL at the base of Q1. So when I apply KCL over here, I'll try to write an equation for Ix1. So what all the parameters will come? R pi will come, then GM V pi will come, and then across the resistor, these two resistors, what is the current? I'm trying to write a current equation. So across these two resistors are parallel to each other. So across this, what is the current is going? So what all the parameters will come? R pi 1 will come, this current source GM V pi 1 will come, and across these two resistors, what is the current flowing? So I am trying to write an equation for Ix1, and I am considering the voltage at this point is Vx1. So my full equation will be in terms of Vx1, not V pi 1. So Vx1 across the resistor R pi 1, just a Ohm's law formula V by R. So voltage is nothing but Vx1. Instead of V pi 1, I have substituted as Vx1 because here I have taken it as Vx1. So Vx1 divided by R pi 1 plus GM V pi 1. Instead of V pi 1, I'll substitute as Vx1 plus these two resistors are parallel to each other. So across these two resistors, what is the voltage? Vx1 divided by R0 parallel to capital R1. So we know here V pi 1 is nothing but Vx1. All these places wherever Vx1, actually V pi 1 should be there. Since I've considered over here Vx1, so I have written the entire equation in terms of Vx1. So therefore 1 by R01 will be equal to I by V. Actually R is equal to V by I. I've written in terms of 1 by R, therefore it is I by V. That will be equal to 1 by Rx1, that is R by 1, plus Gm1 plus 1 divided by R01 parallel to R1. So I can write R01 will be equal to R by 1 upon 1 by Gm1 parallel to R0 parallel to capital R1. So we have found what is our R01, that is from here, seeing from here what is our output resistance we have calculated. Now seeing from here we have to calculate what is our output resistance from the transistor Q2. So as of this we cannot do it. I'll try to draw this portion alone in a simplified way. So now at the collector of transistor Q2, this portion alone I'll try to redraw it. So this is my current source, Gm R02 V pi 2, and we know this R pi 2 and Re are parallel to each other. So this is my R pi 2 and this is my Re. So they both are parallel to each other. So across R by 2 my voltage is V pi 2, and here we have R02 resistor, and this is my voltage source Vx, and here is the Ix, and seeing from here only we are going to calculate what is my output resistance or not. So this circuit only, this circuit only I have redrawn like this. So that means in this circuit it is Norton equivalent circuit. I am converting the Norton equivalent circuit of current source Gm V pi 2 and the resistance R02. I am transforming into Thevenin's equivalent circuit as shown in this figure. So the previous case it was in the form of Norton's equivalent circuit. I have converted into Thevenin's form. So here R pi 2 and Re are parallel to each other. So I'll have a new notation just for simplification. For my convenience I'm taking. So Re dash will be equal to Re divided by V pi 2. So we know V pi 2 will be equal to I into R formula. Therefore minus Ix into Re dash. As per the circuit only I'm saying. So we'll try to write an KVL seeing from the outside. So what is Vx? So apply KVL, Kirchhoff's voltage law. So Vx will be equal to, so what all the terms will come? We'll have R02, we'll have this Gm, and then we'll have this two resistors. So across these two resistors, what is the current flowing? So all the three terms will come. So Vx will be equal to Ix into R02 minus Gm2 R02 V pi 2 plus Ix into Re dash. We know that Re dash is nothing but Re divided by V pi 2. Therefore, we have a relation in this equation between Vx and Ix. So what is my output resistance R0? V by I. So it is Vx by Ix. In these terms, Ix if I take common, I can write R0 is equal to Vx by Ix, which will be equal to R02 taking common 1 plus Re dash Gm2 plus 1 by R02. If you solve, you will get this equation. So if 1 by R02 is nothing but the internal resistance of the transistor 2. So if 1 by R02 is much less than the transconductance Gm2, we can write R0 is equal to, we can simplify our R0 as R01 upon 1 plus Gm2 Re dash, where Re dash is nothing but Re divided by V pi 2. Hope you have understood Wildar current source, how to calculate the I reference, I0, and then the output reference. Thank you.